Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Thank you guys for being here today. I know you have a busy life. I know you've got a lot of things going on, but you are spending time here today to learn more about the business side of photography because you know there is room to grow. There's always room to grow. Thank you guys for being here. This uh, the Portrait Profit Show is sponsored by Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab. You guys have probably all met Amanda at Digital Pro Lab, and she'll be on a little bit later. I think she might have a promo code for you guys. We'll see. She often does because she likes doing things that are beneficial to you guys, and she's always doing things like that, always looking for more things. Today we're going to be talking about, is this a marathon or is this a sprint? And you're going to find that it's both and a whole lot more. And we're going to break it down into a lot of little parts because you can't do a marathon all at once. I mean, it takes some planning. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. I want to encourage you to click that like button or love. I want you to comment or ask questions. This is absolutely interactive. If the question you're asking directly applies and we see it in time, we're going to bring it up during this live stream. And so once again, thank you so much for being here today. I am Jim Landers, and my mission, it's simple. I help portrait photographers just like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week you get tips. You get systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales. This is going to reduce the struggles that most photographers face so that you finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show, sponsored by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. So, is this a marathon or a sprint? I'm curious as to what you guys are thinking. Awesome. I see someone said I've turned you on in my lunch break. Wonderful. I'm glad you're here. Rick, me too, bud. Lord, I know I need to help. Yep, me too. Perfect. So glad. Oh, good. All right. Good. So wonderful that you guys are here. I definitely am encouraging you to continue to ask questions, to click that like or love button, and to make comments as we go. Hey, Hector, how you doing? It's good to see you. Glad you're here. By the way, if it says Facebook user, it just click that little thing that says add to StreamYard permissions. It's at the top of the on Facebook. It's at the top of that post, and that makes it where when you do post something, it'll show you in addition to the comment that you're making. So, yeah, perfect. I'm looking through the comments. And by the way, we're live streamed to several different Facebook pages, and so it's quite possible that you may be one or two or three that are on just one, but to know that they're spread out over several different Facebook pages, so we can see several of you at one time. Actually, we don't see you until you've commented. So that causes us to know that you're there. It shows us a number, but we don't know who's here unless you comment. So another reason why I encourage the comments, I want to know who's watching, who's here with us. So a couple of thoughts or announcements. To those who were at Elevate exhibition last week, that was fantastic. It's an annual event, so you can sign up for next year at some point, not just yet. But it was a fantastic event with about 120 total people in attendance, 20 something or maybe 30 different exhibitors. So a fantastic event, uplifting photographers, which you know is what myself and Amanda love to do. It's what we do. And I bet you guys feel the same way about it. And so I want to encourage you to join my email list. That way you know what's coming up. There's a lot of classes, a lot of events that are always happening. I usually have 2 or 3 every single week. And so if you go to Landers Photo School and click on Get Updates or go to the address that you see on the screen right now, you can add yourself to my email list. tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how to create an online marketing plan. Now, this is, I notice that there's a cost associated with it. It's one of my regular classes. So not everything's for free. I like having some money. I like putting food on the table. So does my wife. So do my kids. So yeah, not everything's free. So this is one example of that. And next, not next week, but the week after, we have photo essays every single month on the second Thursday of every single month. Next time, we're going to be actually meeting in person, which we haven't done in quite some time. March of 2020. That was the last time we met, that the Photo Essay Camera Club met in person. So this next one coming up is the next time, and it's at Essay Photography or Essay Creative Studio near the airport. That's J.R. Days is one of the owners there, and he will be conducting that event. I'll be there as well. But you can bring your camera and enjoy some free studio time. So I want to recommend that you go to the photo essay page, meetup.com/photo essay, just like you see on the screen. If you're not a member already, just click join. It's free to join. And there's suggested donations, but it's not a money thing. We get together because we have a strong interest in photography. And so if you're curious, the amount that we ask to donate is not even enough to cover the costs. So we at Landers Photography School do make up that difference, because this is about getting people together, not about the money. And so I definitely recommend that you join meetup.com/photo essay. I didn't, you're reading it here, but I just better say it. Take me out to the studio. I was thinking baseball, take me out to the ball game. And in this instance, it's take me out to the studio. So I hope to see you there on Thursday, the second Thursday of November. At the end of the month, and it does say October 31st, but it has nothing to do with Halloween, is a fantastic workshop for you guys. You're going to love this. This is called Stand Out with Editorial Portraits, creating magazine quality images. And this is using ambient lighting. We'll probably have one in the future that has using different types of artificial lighting, but this is ambient. So just bring your camera, what you already have. If you've got a 5-in-1 reflector, bring that too. We'll use that, but no artificial lighting. The workshop is being conducted by Todd White, who is the Lumix ambassador. I assume you're familiar with the camera brand Lumix, high quality brand, maybe not as well known as Nikon, Sony, and Canon, but it is definitely up there in quality. You'd be impressed if you took a look at Lumix cameras. This is the ambassador for Lumix and one of the instructors for Precision Camera in Austin. He's coming down from Austin to teach this class. It'll be 2 instructors at this one, him and myself. This is going to be, as you see on the screen, this is going to be in person. And I want you to use a promo code, because the price says $500, but I want you to pay a lower price. In fact, a lot lower price. If you use the promo code now you have to write that down, because it doesn't say it anywhere. And I don't want it to be said anywhere. It's on my email list. So those who are on my email list will see it there. But the promo code is NOW, N-O-W, all lowercase. When you enter the promo code now, when you're getting the Stand Out with Editorial portraits, it drops the price from $500 down to $189. So a serious promo code, N-O-W. Go to the address that you see right there, tiny URL /Stand Out Portraits, and use the promo code N-O-W. And then I'll see you on Sunday morning, October 31st. Not far away, just around the corner. That's a week from yesterday. So coming up soon. Let's see what other. You know what? A lot of you are taking advantage of this, and I think that's wonderful. And I want to make sure that you're aware of this, because every once in a while I'll come across someone that says, "What? I didn't know you did that." Free business assessment consultations. Only takes about half an hour. And during that time, we talk about you and where you're at right now and what your goals are for the future. Or we could talk about your price list, because this is an area that a lot of photographers have difficulty with. A lot of photographers look at what other photographers are doing to get their price list. And for portrait photographers, it's not how you do it. There's a lot of other variables that you have to consider, and other people's variables aren't yours. And who knows that they even did it right? I have found that 19 out of 20 have a price list that's not right for them. It wasn't customized for them so that they could reach their goals. And if you don't have a price list that helps you reach your goals, that's part of your foundational base. If that's not right, you're going to experience overwhelm. You're going to experience stress that's unnecessary. You're going to have times when you're unsure of what you're supposed to do next. It's going to feel like you're lost if you don't have some of these foundational things in order. So take advantage of my free option here of a business assessment consultation, about 30 minutes. So just go to calendly.com/photo school. And I probably should put that in the chat. Let me do that real quick. That way you don't have to write it down. You can just copy and paste it. Comments, post. There we go. All right. So that's the business assessment consultation, and that's free. Rick, your comments are funny. I like them. And let's see. Hey, Pam. Hey, Steve. I'm reading all of these, but I'm not saying all of these. I'm looking at the comments in case you're wondering. And well, I don't know who said miss you, but I bet I miss you too. I just don't know who said it. By the way, if it says Facebook user, by the way, for me, it says Facebook user. But for if you will at the top of the post on Facebook, if you'll go up to the post, the original post where it talks about what's going on here, the original text, at the bottom of that, it says StreamYard permission. And so if you'll click that, I will know when you comment who it was that said those words. And so I'm sure I miss you too. Rick, keep it up. I love it. Making me laugh. Editorial portraits. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So back to the what's on coming up on Saturday or Sunday. Editorial portraits are storytelling portraits. Now, effectively, a portrait is this anyway. This on the base, what is a portrait? It's something that portrays someone, but it's kind of a wide range of things. We think the stereotypical portrait, kind of like what you're seeing on the screen right now, where you've got the head and shoulders and a headshot. But of course, it isn't limited to that. You can do all kinds of things, full length. You do where you're small relative to the entire image. But these will be where the story is not just the person, but the environment or the clothing, something maybe jewelry, where there's something in addition. So the person maybe, but there could be something in addition to that. So what things to consider in order to tell whatever story you're trying to tell? For instance, you may be photographing something for because of architectural, but you're putting someone in it to help it show size or show interest or show number of people who are enjoying this environment. So there's a lot of things you're doing when you're doing editorial, but this will have a heavy lean towards things that are magazine quality. Things that you would expect to see in a fresh magazine. That's what the on Sunday at that event is all about. Let me bring that back up so you know what I'm talking about. So that is stand out with editorial portraits. And thank you for asking about that, Rick. I appreciate it. So that's what we'll be talking about on Sunday, this Sunday morning. So that's 8:30 in the morning. We'll have models, and it ends at 11. So everything is in the morning, done before noon. Doesn't get in the way of your Halloween plans. And sure, you could come dressed up if you want to. I'll be dressed as a photography teacher. I won't be dressed up, but you're welcome to do whatever you want. I like different personalities. Love it. So, back to the comments. Make sure I'm reading them all. Good. Did I answer that question, Rick? Is that what you were looking for? Mm, good. Glad to hear that. All right. Let me take that back off of the screen. Awesome. All right. So I mentioned uh, business assessment consultation. There's also something else I want to encourage you to take advantage of. You may know, but I'll tell you if you just, this is either a rerun or you've hearing it for the first time. I take one photographer to lunch every single week. Now, I often have lunch with more than one photographer every single week, but I am definitely going to pay for it at least one time a week. And if it's some other time, I probably could make arrangements, but I'm paying for it on Tuesday of every week. If you can't do Tuesdays or you don't want to do, or it's too far in advance, whatever, you can choose a different day that I have available. But that would mean that you're taking me to lunch because it's Tuesdays. I'm real specific as far as planning purposes. Tuesdays, I'm taking a photographer to lunch every single week and have been doing this for months now. And so several photographers have taken advantage of it, and this is what I want you to do. And so that is called Lunch with Landers. And by the way, Javi Valdez came up with that name. I don't know that he intended it to be something like this, but when we were trying to come up with a name for the Portrait Profits show, we thought that noon would be a good time to do that. Maybe you could have your lunch break while watching the show. And so Javi, right at first, came up with the name Lunch with Landers, and that name was an interesting name. It didn't get chosen. We chose Portrait Profits. And I don't recall if I came up with that name or if Amanda did or if Javi did. I don't remember now. I think I did, but I don't know. So but he came up with I know for sure he came up with Lunch with Landers. It wasn't intended for this purpose, but I liked the name, and it did cross my mind previous to that of doing something like this, not a one-on-one. I was thinking about doing it as a group, but I am doing this one-on-one. And if you'll go to that address, and let's see, I'm going to copy that and put that into the chat post. Put that back up in order to copy it. I have to take it down for just a moment. I'll put that in the comments. Lunch with Landers. Now that so just click on that link. It should show up on your feed and right now. It should be there right now. Just click on that, and okay, that's interesting. I have to check on that one. Click on that link, and you'll have a calendar for all my Tuesdays. It'll only be Tuesdays that are showing because that's the day I do it. And I believe that this month and next month are booked. But I believe there's dates in September and definitely in January. Although I don't know how far out the calendar goes. I think it's only 60 days. So December, there are days available. Take advantage of that. Lunch with Landers. Take that off. And in case you're not familiar with it, but I'll let you know that there's an organization called the Professional Photographers of San Antonio. It's been around for a long time. I think it's 69, 68, somewhere in that range. It's been around for a good long time, and it is an affiliate member of the Professional Photographers of America. And so PPSA meets once a month, and they meet on Wednesdays, and they have a different speaker, different topic every month, kind of like Photo SA does, but definitely everything is on the professional side on for PPSA, whereas Photo SA definitely has some business stuff, but it's other things as well. So the photography side, but the speaker for next month's PPSA is Amanda. And so I want to encourage you to go see this. So the November PPSA meeting is called The Power of Partnerships. Now, if you've been watching the Portrait Profits show, you probably know this as alliances. It's a similar thing. It'll be from her point of view, so a different perspective. But as far as understanding what this is about, it's similar to the getting sponsors and alliances that I had. I think it was in June, so several months ago. But this will be at on Wednesday, November 17th. Put this on your calendar at Pajady's Ranch. And if you go to the website PPSA, uh, actually, I think it's written out, Professional Photographers of San Antonio.org. Uh, do a Google search to get that address, but you can find out more information about it. There is a charge for it. I think it's a very low charge considering what you're getting, but to each his own. Just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so is price. And we can talk about price all day long, right? And maybe we should talk a little bit about that. But this is coming up on Wednesday, November 17th at Pajady's Ranch, and that's in Helotes. So the November PPSA meeting, Amanda is the speaker. And so that's why I'm encouraging you to go. I encourage you to go all the time because it's always good speakers. They had a fantastic speaker this past Sunday. Yesterday, man, the days run together, named Tony Corbell, called Between Light and Shadow. Fantastic all-day event. And a fantastic price for it too. But again, price, just like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. So put that on your calendar. Definitely recommend it. Pajady's Ranch. Yep. It's that's funny. You guys keep on commenting. I like it. Keep on doing that. That's perfect. So yeah, Pajady's Ranch is a venue that is in Helotes. It's the building that you'll be in is huge. It's really, really big, way larger, 10 times larger than we need for what we're doing there. But yeah, that's a fantastic event. So take advantage of that. I'm looking at different places for where I'm getting notes. There we go. All right. So let's talk about the thing that we're here to talk about today. Is this a marathon or is this a sprint? Well, you're a career photographer, a career professional portrait photographer. At least that's the target market for the Portrait Profit Show. Your career as a professional portrait photographer, is this a marathon or a sprint? Well, you've likely heard that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You've heard that quote before. And it is true, but as always, there's more to it that's what's on the surface level. Your career as a professional portrait photographer is a marathon. But that one big marathon might more appropriately be called a journey, because it's made up of a series of marathons. And those marathons, well, they're made up of a seemingly endless series of sprints with so many variables and considerations, turns and options, that it can be overwhelming. So I went to what I often do. I do a Google search. I have a thought or idea, and I start writing about it and my thoughts in the direction I went ahead, and then I do a Google search on it. Or maybe the idea came from a question that I received during a coaching call, or a private class or a group class, or maybe it was something that I saw online on just a post online. But in this instance, I went and did a Google search and entered in, is it a marathon or is it a sprint? And then I clicked on images because I wanted to see if there were some, a lot of times when there's articles, there's an image made with the text on it. And so I thought I'd narrow it down just a bit like that and show you some. And so I'm going to show you my screen real quick. Chrome window, tab, share, and show you just a handful, just 5 of the ones that I saw. Life's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. So you can see this recurring theme. And this journey is a marathon, not a sprint. There were hundreds, no, there were thousands of these. So I just grabbed a few of them just so you could have a visual, so you can see what I was thinking while at the early, well, probably midway through when I was writing this class, or this episode of the Portrait Profit Show. So now I'm going to stop sharing that. So now, while I feel answered the question is in the title, is this a marathon or a sprint? The answer doesn't do anything to help you create a profitable business. And that's the purpose of the show. So today we're going to look at the big picture and contrast it with short-term considerations that are needed in order to make things happen. So and we're going to do that by going over the things we need to do during that journey, made up of marathons, which are made up of sprints, and narrow that down to creating a timeline of what it is that you want to do. Timeline, meaning from where you're at now to where you want to go, and all the different awesome pieces and parts and points in between. It's your timeline. What are you going to do with your career? What are you going to do with your life? This entire journey, this entire thing that you're doing, both life and professional. We're going to break this down into the marathons that make it up. Now, what are those? They're going to be broken down into years, to projects, different long-term goals, and then break those down into easy steps that make sense, that you can do. Let's talk about an overall goal. Your overall goal, for purposes of this class, it's to create a profit doing what it is that you love doing. You want to create the framework to have a predictable, consistent plan, as well as a steady stream of highly qualified prospects that are contacting you and then hiring you, becoming clients. Our overall goal, business side. Not the only important thing here, though. I believe we have to start by defining things that are outside of our business first. You've heard me say this before, probably a lot of times. Start by defining who you are, your beliefs, your philosophies. How do you want to live your life? What's important to you? Second thing is, what do you want in this life? And this is where you write down the things that are going to cost you either time or money, or most likely both. What do you want in this life? I'm going to get a little bit more specific about that here in a moment. The third thing is, what do you want to do as far as your photography? Types of photography. Do you want to work with a charity or multiple charities? How about planning vacations? Do you want to photograph while you're on vacation? Destination portrait sessions? Do you want to do special projects? What do you want to do as far as with your passion for photography? What do you want to sell? Sessions? Mini sessions? What products do you want to sell? Real quick, a word about mini sessions. Clearly, when we all look online, some of the things that photographers are offering, and they call them mini sessions, absolutely are mini sessions. And other times, it makes it very clear that they don't actually understand what a mini session is. A mini session must be repeatable and is repeatable. You can't go to someone's home and photograph a mini session. It's not what a mini session is. That's a regular session. It may be a shorter one. It's possible. It could be longer. It could be shorter, but that's a session. If you're only doing one, it's just a session. Multiple sessions is what makes something a mini session, where you're doing one right after the other at 10, 20, 30-minute intervals. By the way, if it's longer than 30 minutes, it's just simply not a mini session anymore. But it's something that's repeated where you are doing several. You're doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an hour. That's when it becomes mini session. And you're doing the same thing for everyone. So if you go to the park and you set up a mini session, it means that you have brought in multiple of whatever it is you're photographing. Kids, families, whatever it is. Mini session is not just short. There's a lot fewer things that are cut out from it than regular sessions. So big difference between mini sessions and sessions. We need to define who you want to work with. We want to define how much money do you need in order to reach your goals. We need to put a calendar together, a timeline. And we need procedures and steps in order to make this all happen. This is all part of the goal category. Now, I want to stop and make sure that you understand something very clearly. And that's if you cannot plan if you don't know what it is that you want. It's not possible. You must define what it is you want so that you can even begin to plan. Don't give the excuse that you don't know or you're not sure. I understand that you don't know everything about what's coming in your future. Neither do I. I understand. But you do know some things. You know the things that you want to happen in your future. So there's no excuse to skip this step. If you are skipping it, then maybe you just don't understand its purpose. I still get it. I understand. And maybe I can help you. If you've got that free business consultation I mentioned earlier, and if you're just joining us, well, then go back and look at the posts that have come before, and you'll see it. You'll see that link sitting there. Take advantage of it. I'm happy to help. I get it. But you must define what it is you want. I mean, you do it every time you go into your car. You define what it is that you want, where you're going. Isn't planning your business and planning your life a little bit more important than that? So no excuses here. Plan what you want. That way you give yourself potential to make a plan so that you can create some laser focus and have the potential to get there. It's what causes you to know not the difference between good and bad, but the difference between good and right for what you're trying to accomplish. Start with 2 parts of the foundation of your life, including your goals and your dreams. Number 1, define who you are in terms of what makes you happy, what energizes you, what excites you, what gets you up in the morning with enthusiasm. Sometimes you don't wake up in the morning with enthusiasm, but when you have, what was it that caused it? What do you want to experience in life? And other stuff. Number 2, define what kind of business you're going to provide. You're a tool amongst others who are potentially similar tools, at least from your client's point of view, maybe not from yours. What is it about you and your business that is specifically different, specifically unique? What are the differentiators? You've got to define them. If you cannot describe your business in a way that is completely obvious to your target market as being exactly what it is they want, then you have not yet done a sufficient job of defining what it is that you do. Maybe I should repeat that. If you cannot describe your business in a way that is so completely obvious to your target market as being exactly what they want, then you have not yet done a sufficient job of defining what you do. So don't stop. Continue to define you and your business so clients are sure, so that they are so clear that it's easy for them to share with those who they know. Let's talk about planning. In the beginning of your career, let's say you're new. In the beginning of your career, begin your plan out about 2 months from now. If you need money quickly, I definitely understand that. And you can make money quickly in photography. So if you need money quickly, then go back a few episodes. I don't remember how far back it was, but go look for the quick money episode. Quick money. It was probably 3, 4, or 5 weeks ago. It wasn't that far back. But just go back in the news feed and find Quick Money and watch that one. Otherwise, generally speaking, in the beginning of your career, plan 2 months out. Because it takes time to plan, it takes time to implement the plan, and it takes time for your clients to pay attention and actually do something. Again, you can rush things sometimes, and sometimes it's the right choice to rush things. But given the option of coming up with a rushed plan or enough time to really think things through, most of us would appreciate the extra time. Besides, these wonderful creative minds prefer not to have outside stresses, partially because we have enough internal stress to deal with. Do you guys have any of that? I know you do. Because you're human, because you're creative. Now, I want you to begin with a lifelong timeline. Start off big, big picture. Start off with personal. Here's what I want you to do. Now that you've written down what you want out of this life, write down every major thing on a Post-it note. Now, what kind of things might you want? A house, a bigger house, a car every few years, vacations. If you're not married, maybe you want to be married. If you don't have kids, maybe you want kids. This timeline is not tied yet to dates. So it's based on what's in your mind, what you feel is potential, what it is you'd like to have. This is something that you could share, but you probably won't share with others. So just open up, mental download. What do you want? Put it on each one of the different things that you want on a different Post-it note. Put it up on the wall. Move them around as you see fit. Do them in the order, of course, that you want them to happen. You're going to be changing it. That's fine. Things happen at different times. Maybe you want to retire at some specific age. We're going to have to define how much you need in order to retire, but that's not for right now. Just write down what age would you like to be when you retire? Put that on your timeline. Put a date to some degree on it, but this could have a wide range. So this could be, 20 to 30 years from now kind of a thing. It could be 1 to 2 years. So put a general date range on it. If it's something very specific, like you want to have a big blowout 50th birthday party, well, that's pretty darn specific because you know your birth date. So you can be very specific with that. But other things you don't have to be real specific about. You just need to be specific about what it is that you want. I want you to sit back and take a look at it once you're done with that, because you're looking at the big picture of your life. Sit back and take a look at it. Make additions, make some changes, and do this in a place where you can leave it there. I want you to see it. I want you to experience it. I want you to add to it, change it whenever you want. There's some software programs out there to do this too, but man, when it's physical, it seems to make a bigger impact. And there's multiple ways to do this. I've seen it done on dry erase boards. I've seen it done with pieces of paper connected to a string where somebody could hold it, have it up on the wall out, and when they're not using it, pull out one pin and let it just go straight. I've seen this behind large portraits. Have to be a pretty darn large portrait, where it's just out on the wall or behind different. I haven't seen a whole lot of examples of that, but I've definitely seen where it's hidden because they don't want it to be seen all the time, just when they're actively looking at it. But if you've got your own office, put it up on the wall. I want you to see it always, because you want your mind to be constantly influenced by the things that you want, not by the things that others want that sound interesting. Now, you still want to consider those things, because maybe on your list of things you want to do, it's spend more time with family. Maybe it's spend more time with friends. How do you put that on a calendar? That is an idea. You don't put it on a calendar. But how do you solve it? Those are things you could put at least on a timeline. Let's talk about the business side. Incredibly important part, especially considering the name of this show. Do the same thing as you did with the personal side. Do this with your business goals. And I'd say keep it separate. Write down each major thing that you want to do, that you want to accomplish. Each one of them on a separate Post-it note. What kind of things might you want? Maybe you want to own a studio, but you might not. Maybe you want to own some property, big piece of property, maybe where you have an annual picnic for all of your past clients and current clients. Be kind of fantastic if you liked that kind of thing. You might not. You may think that's awful. It's good for the next guy, but maybe not for you. Whatever it is that you want, define it, put it on the Post-it note, and move on to the next thing. So what do you want? Not what can you do with your current resources. Do not limit yourself when you're doing this. You can, what can your amazingly creative mind come up with when it has no restrictions? This is your life, personal and business. That's what I want you to define. Not your restricted view, worried about money, because we worry about things. This cannot be a part of this process. So, what do you want? Not what you can do with your current resources. What can your amazingly creative mind come up with when it has no restrictions? Like money, not a concern. Knowledge, you know it all. For real, not just know it all. You have people talking to other people who have people. You're a creative. Do not restrict your thoughts at this point. And I have a word for you. Well, I have a note to the perfectionist that is in all of us. This is not the time, but your time is coming. This is not the time to be a perfectionist. Let your mind wander. Allow the pipe dreams that either you restrict or the people in your environment restrict. This is not the time to consider those. And perfection, come on. This is a fantasy at this point. This is, if I could blink my eyes and I had the power to have exactly what I want, what would I want? What would it be? What would I experience? What would my clients experience? What is the most amazing view of your entire career that you can come up with? When you take off the restrictions that we place on ourselves every day, it'll become obvious not only to you, but others that you're more wonderful than you've ever been viewed before. You'll see things clearer, partially because you now have focus and you didn't have it before. Now, what kind of things are we going to do? What kind of things are we actually going to do? Let's break this down even further, because this was the big picture. What kind of things you're going to do? I want you to define what types of photography that you want to do. Now, this could be just one. This could be two different things. In my opinion, you should have one, and if there are some others that really go well with it, then add those. But we specialize. When we specialize, we become known for that specialization. When we generalize, we get known for just being a photographer. And so in certain environments, that is actually a good thing. Let's say you're in an environment where there's, well, we're here in San Antonio, Texas. There's 2 million people in this area. And so we can be very specific in defining what it is that we do and get enough business. But let's say you live in an area that has fewer than 10,000 people in the area, and there's not even within an hour anymore. Then we need to not be quite so specific in that instance. Maybe to some degree, but a lot of times we need to broaden that out a little bit. It just depends on the environment that you're in and who you want to target. But write it down. What types of photography do you want to be known for? What do you enjoy? What makes you happy? What brings in the kind of clients you want to work with? And you're going to be defining that too. Who do you want to work with? Personality. How they react to you. Define them. In addition to what you've defined as the type of photography you do, I also believe you need to do some special projects. I think these are great for your creative mind. I also think they're fantastic for marketing. Special projects. Now, these are kind of similar potentially to mini sessions, but they could be totally different as well. But a special project doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that you've specialized in. It needs to at least be related to it, but it doesn't have to be. But this is another area where you can use alliances, where you can use use the power of other people's, other businesses, lists their influence that they have on their clients. Give you an example. Let's say you wanted to do, let's say you're a family portrait photographer, and those of you who have taken my classes before may have heard this example before. If you haven't, then it's new to you. Hey, but let's say you're a family portrait photographer, and you're doing a special project, and you're working with an alliance, a partner. And let's, in this instance, pick a bank. Now, banks have things they want to do in order to get the attention. Let's say it's a local bank. For here in San Antonio, this would be Jefferson. This would be Frost. This would be Amegy. There's several local banks. You pick one and you talk to them, whoever it is that's the decision maker. And you won't know who that person is at first, probably. But they do things themselves to support their clients, to let them know they care. Well, you've got something as a portrait photographer, in this instance, family, that you can work with very directly with them in a symbiotic, a win-win situation. You know, I believe in those. If you don't know what the win-win is, then seek it out. It exists. And if it doesn't, then we can create it. We are creatives after all. In this instance, I'm talking to that bank person, manager, whoever it is that would be in charge of making this decision, and telling them that We have a similar goal, and that is to make sure our clients know that we love and appreciate them. So I would like to photograph the top 12 families in business. You choose them. The only thing I ask of you is to choose them and to have a reception for them to come in, because it's beneficial to you to do so. And it gives an opportunity to show all the photographs that we've created. And once I've gotten this list of 12, 12 is a good number, by the way, that you may need to get a few more names just in case you've got some people who aren't able to do it because they're busy, they're out of town, that whatever their reason is. But you create this solo show in the lobby of their bank. They have an event where they have everybody come in. Maybe they have a instrumental guitarist that's playing. Maybe they have cheese and wine, and all of the portraits are out on easels. All 12 families are present, and additional families, maybe their newest family-owned businesses, are invited to this event. But this is one way for them to show how much they care and appreciate. And it gives you at least 12 new clients that you probably did not have before. This is a fantastic special project. And there's a ton of things like this you can do. By the way, I can help you with this. It's not limited. It's only limited if you don't know or don't apply. Special projects. Now, I recommend that you have between, well, your first year when you're first starting out, just have 1 to 3. Don't do a whole lot of them. You've got enough stuff to worry about. Do 1, 2, 3. You need some. By the way, when you start doing stuff like this, you start getting media attention. Have you guys seen me on TV recently? It was only 3 weeks ago, I think. So yeah, pretty recent. When you start doing things that help out something greater than you, you start getting noticed. Special projects is one of those. You can do this with a charity. You can do this with a restaurant. There's so many different ways that you can use this particular tool, and it is fantastic. And you may be asking, let's talk numbers. This is Portrait Profit Show, all right? Of those families that you photographed, it's kind of divided into 3. About a third of them aren't going to buy anything from you. They just have that they're happy to be a part of this thing that's going on. In fact, they want to be a part of it. They don't want to not be a part of it, but they may not have an interest in the photograph. So about a third don't buy anything. Effectively, you're losing money on the deal. Half of them buy your average, though. Excuse me, a third of them buy your average. Whatever your average is. If your average is $2,000, a third of them do that. That's 4 people at your average. And these, you didn't have to do any marketing for, any advertising for. The bank gave you these names. And what about that other third? Greater than your average. This is what I have found over the years of doing this. It's fantastic. Now, those 4, they don't buy anything from you. Yeah. We are emotionally tied to the things we create. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't. But go in with the knowledge that this is just going to happen and you're okay with it. It still feels bad, but you knew it was coming. Of course, after the first one doesn't buy and the second one doesn't buy, you're kind of thinking, is this a trend? Don't worry about it, guys. It's very consistent. At least it has been for me. And I can help you with a plan if you need it. But a third buy more than your average. Man, does that ever make it worthwhile? Yeah. That's funny, Dave. Yeah. I read an article that was similar to that. It was I think it said pentathlon, but yeah. You're right. You're right, Dave. Thank you for saying that. So we've defined what products that we sell. We've defined the special projects that we want to do. Come up with a bunch of them. These are fun, man. Creatives are good about coming up with these. And if you have any trouble, reach out to me. I love this stuff. Now, who do you want to work with? It might be different from your regular specialization versus your the special projects that you want to do. It could be a different person, but define who you want to work with. And it's going to be the same. You may tweak it during your career, but it's going to be the same for your specialization. It might be different for your special projects. And then define the numbers, overall gross that you want to make each year in order to reach your goals. Let's talk about an annual plan. A little bit more about an annual plan. Next year's plan needs to be in a relatively complete state by May. In other words, it's November right now. I was thinking in my mind, do I want to say the date right now? Because then I'll date this program. It's November right now. Excuse me, it's almost November. We're a week away. A week from today, November 1st. Can you believe that? Time flies. So this past May is when you should have completed your plans for 2022, in my opinion. And by the way, when you start experiencing your plan, so January of 2022, start tweaking for 2023. That's when you need to be planning. Whatever worked during January 2022, use that in 2023. Tweak it, make it better, but use that as part of your plan. That way, every May, you're just reviewing what it is you plan to do the next year. You're not starting from scratch. So right at first, you're starting from scratch. This is difficult. It is. And I can help you with that. It's difficult, though. I get it. So I want you to build a calendar. Start by populating your calendar, the personal side. On your calendar, mark off the time you don't want to work. Personal vacations, doctor's appointments, whatever is on the calendar already, personal stuff, take it off. And then do the business side. Everything you want on there. By the product, by the project, marketing efforts, write the title of each, write out the steps, the procedures, place all these things on the calendar. For instance, if it's going to take you 3 months worth of marketing effort to get to a project that you're working on, this winds up on your calendar, not just the projects, but the steps leading up to them, the things that cause you to be able to make that happen. Because when you tweak, you'll learn, man, that took me a lot longer than I expected. I'm going to start a week earlier next year or something along those lines. Automate everything that you can because there's a massive number of variables for photographers. And during the year, track, measure your results. Tweak your plan as you go. Schedule planning time. And just focus. Now, is this a marathon? Is this a sprint? So is this a marathon? The path you're on as a career professional portrait photographer most certainly is. But it is, as a bunch of them, broken down into a seemingly endless series of sprints that once you've taken the time to plan them, break them out into small steps, you can make every dream that you have now, and some you haven't even thought of yet, come true. Do you guys have any questions, comments about what we've talked about? I've seen several in here. Some of them I've put up on the screen, but I'm gonna want to bring Amanda on here in just a moment and share about what she's been doing and let you maybe repeat a couple of things about upcoming events so that you guys know what's going on or have at least heard it at least once. So Amanda, can I bring you on for a moment? Hi, Amanda.
Hi, everybody. How are you? How's it going?
Good. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too. I've been enjoying your lesson. This one is one I think every business owner struggles with. Am I on this marathon? Am I sprinting? It's a journey at the end of the day. As business owners,
Hmm.
we need to enjoy the journey, whether you're at the part of it that's a sprint or a part of it that's a marathon. It's all about enjoying those moments that are leading you towards the finish line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of enjoying, did you enjoy Elevate exhibition a week ago?
Oh my gosh, I did. I loved seeing everybody there together. I loved seeing the differences of photographic eyes that everybody had. I liked seeing the difference in presentation of their
Hmm.
artwork, whether it was in a framing or, them choosing fine art papers or canvas or, premium luster papers, size differentials. All of that obviously interests me. I like to see just how creative and unique everybody gets to be when they're presenting their work. I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's the true magic for me.
Was it fun getting to see them ahead of time when people sent their orders in to Digital Pro Lab?
I think it's always interesting to see them ahead of time, but it's more interesting to see them juxtaposed coming off of a printer versus being presented on a wall or on an easel, like I said, framed or in all their glory, however they were meant to be presented. Because we don't get to see that very often, which is why anytime anybody invites us to go out or there's a public presentation of that or whether gallery exhibition, we try and make every effort that we can to not only go out there to support but to also see it in a different way than we typically get to see it on a daily basis. So that's always
Yeah,
enjoyable for us.
yeah, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Uh, Hi, Tara. I didn't know you were joining us, and I'm really glad that you are here. Both of us thoroughly enjoyed being there. You put on a great show, Tara. I know you had help, but you put huge amount of effort into this, and that definitely means that it'll be easier for you next year, which I'm hopefully you're really thrilled about. Because yeah, the first year you put on an event, it's tough. It doesn't mean it's not tough in the future. It just means you're going to work out some kinks and things go a whole lot smoother. And so Amanda and I are so grateful for everyone who does things to uplift photographers. And when we see it, we're going to try and jump on it and be a part of it and promote it and share that, because there's a lot of people who are doing things to uplift photographers. Some of them small, just maybe just a getaway to a park and walk around, or maybe downtown San Antonio or wherever, and spend half a day walking around. Other times it's huge events like Elevate exhibition, where there are lots of photographers who are presenting and sharing their pride and joy, the thing they love, their passion, and then another 100 or so that are there to see that passion that other people have. And both are very enjoyable experiences. Thank you, Tara, for what you did. Thanks, Amanda, for making things happen on the print side of things, and giving the presenters a special deal to so that they could better afford to be able to do it. So yeah, it took a lot of people, and I know Tara is grateful for everybody that helped out with that.
And that's a really creative thing to have come up with. I know you were talking a little bit earlier on these creative ways, especially for marketing, that as business owners we really need to embrace. So I think she did a great job
Yeah,
in that effort.
yeah, awesome. I Let's see. I mentioned to them earlier that you're the speaker at the November PPSA meeting.
Mhm.
I didn't know if you wanted to share anything else about that. Would you like to share something else about that, or anything else that's coming up?
So yeah, definitely the PPSA meeting that we have coming up in November. I believe it's November 17th. I'm going to be presenting on really cross promotional marketing, this idea of creatively marketing in partnership with other business entities, other nonprofits, ways of leveraging. Am I in my bathroom? Yeah, ways in leveraging and creating a bit of synergy between multiple businesses to elevate both. You know, you talk about these win-win situations, Jim, and I think that that's absolutely what businesses need to be doing together. I know we do a lot of that with our photographers. Not only are they our customers, but they're our partners, they're our friends, and we want to lift each other up. And you can do that with other businesses as well. So that's absolutely what I'm going to be speaking to. It's something that I've grown over the years very fondly of doing as a business owner, and I think it's definitely gotten us to where we're at, especially in these last few years. Several partnerships that we've been able to engage in. You know, Portrait Profits being one of them that I know Jim and I both enjoy doing, especially Jim. Loves to elevate his community just like we do. And again, those synergies and finding those common things that we as people love. And it's the best way to put this, Jim. You know, you multiply what you can do when you do it with other people versus when you do it on your own. I think that's
right.
the best way that I can say that.
There's so many. I totally agree with that. There's so many advantages to doing that. We're leveraging the influence of the person who has similar interests that we have, or the business that has similar interests that we have. We're also in putting in a little bit of accountability, maybe a lot of accountability too, because when you do something on your own and you haven't told anybody, you're just kind of doing it and it falls apart. You might not be very happy about that, but it doesn't cause any problems because nobody knew. But if you include other people, you now have put some personal pressure into it. And I know we try to avoid that stuff, but you know what? That personal pressure is what causes us to become successful. And so therefore it's a win on every single side of things. It helps, it increases the leverage, it increases the influence, and it gives us that personal push that we actually need that. This is something that causes us to keep on going and to get better and better and not become stagnant and become comfortable with whatever level of success we've reached. We keep on growing because of this. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely agree with that. You need to be a little bit uncomfortable, and those
Mhm.
partnerships, as magical and fabulous as they are, do create some uncomfortability because, yeah, there is that accountability that you need to live up to because you don't want to fall short of what you've promised or what the other person expects in that relationship that you're trying to build within that partnership. So, absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, good. I I mentioned to them earlier a handful of different things. And like I have a online marketing class coming up tomorrow. And they can just go to landersphotoschool.com to get information on that. There's also a stand out with editorial portraits that I'm doing with Todd White from Austin. Do you know Todd?
Mm-mm.
Todd White. You'd like him. I think you'd like him a lot. He's a good guy. He's the Lumix ambassador for Lumix cameras, and he teaches on his own, and he also does teaching for the cameras, the camera store there in Austin, Precision Camera, and he and I have been friends since the late '80s, so I've known him for quite some time. He wasn't a photographer then. We were in the same fraternity.
Did you want to be a photographer, Jim? I've been meaning to ask you.
Yes.
Always.
I've known I wanted to be a photographer since I was 6.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is, I know that's weird. That's unusual. And no one else in my family has ever been a photographer. Now, it's not that they don't enjoy photography. It's just that as far as professional, there's no one else who's a professional. Many of them enjoy it. My boys don't really have any interest in photography.
Like, Dad, stop taking pictures of me. How was your son's wedding?
Oh, thank you for asking. It was fantastic.
Okay.
You know,
Is it nice to be on the other side of it?
Oh, so it is. It is so much. Yeah, I commented. There was the father of the groom speech, and one of the things I commented on is I well, I haven't photographed weddings in years, so I guess I should let you guys know that I haven't photographed weddings in years. It's 2015 was the last time. But over the last 300, or excuse me, I have photographed over 300 weddings. But your son's is something totally different. I mean, every one of them was special. This is a totally different experience.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Very
fantastic.
cool.
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, well, we can't
So
wait to see the pictures. Hopefully, you'll share them.
yeah, everybody was asking me, did you photograph it, or I bet you were uh, hard on the photographer, or made it difficult to choose them. I didn't have anything to do with the choice. That was
Yeah.
them. They chose the photographer. They did that. I didn't have anything to do with that. I did visit with the photographer, and I had not met her before, but she was fantastic. A newer photographer who has good communication skills and worked well with her clients, worked well with the guests, and worked well with the club. So yeah, good experience. Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. All right. Any other announcements we need to go over? Like our special promo code?
Do you have a special promo code?
I actually want to extend the last one. I don't feel like that many people took advantage of such a fabulous promo code. We love metal prints. Everybody is excited when they see their images on metal because it's so unique. And I want to extend it again to make sure that everybody is aware that we do have this as part of our Portrait Profits promotion. That's
Awesome.
a lot of P's. Portrait Profits promotion. We're going to brand that, right? And the promo code for that is Metal Rocks. Get 25% off a 16 by 20 metal print. Those come ready to hang, so you don't have to invest in a frame for it. It has a frame backer already incorporated into it. So just pop a nail in the wall, put it right on up, and you'll have this clean line contemporary piece that has a very high gloss finish. There are two different options that we have. If you're familiar with them. If you're not, I'm going to go ahead and go over it real quick. But one has a white base and the other has a silver base. And both of them really present your image in a very, very unique way. So the printers that we're using to produce that particular product don't use white inks. So the white of the actual base of the metal, so one again is coated in white, that white will then be white in any highlight or white area of your image. The silver creates that unique look because the white area of your image is actually not a true white. It's going to be a light silver metal. So you see some metal striations, and that actually creates some an interesting look when the image is actually hit with light from different angles. It looks almost three-dimensional. So I always encourage people to try it. If they haven't already tried it, try both. Especially when you have a 25% off promotion like this. Why not? So I encourage you all to take advantage of that today. Over the next week, it's going to be good through the rest of the week, all the way through Friday.
That's fantastic. Yeah, man, if you guys haven't had one of your photographs printed on metal, it's so different. It's so fantastic. You've got to do it. You'll get addicted to it. But it's a tool just like any other. Definitely try it out and take advantage of this 25% off, and you'll see that there's certain certain images that just become so much more than they could have been otherwise. And so it's a fantastic. Take advantage of this 25% off and try something. Just put something out there. And things that look best. Well, everything, but maybe something that's got metal, maybe something that's got sky, something with some color. But man, black and whites look freaking amazing on it too. So whatever it is that you like, print it on metal. Take advantage of the sale.
Mm-hmm.
Use that promo code Metal Rocks. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
I think the last thing everybody, I would hope that if you're watching Portrait Profits, you're a portrait photographer or something in the realm. Christmas is coming up. a little too quickly as far as I'm concerned, but it's coming nevertheless. And I know one of the most popular products we have during Christmas are greeting cards. So what we do for our professional photographers and customers is offer free greeting card designs with any greeting card that you purchase. So if you download our ordering system, you're going to see that we have hundreds of different greeting card designs spanning, you know, any number of themes for the holidays. If you want, you know, Christmas theme, if you want something religious, if you want something more in the Hanukkah area, then we have designs for those, and they're absolutely free, which means that if you're offering those items, a Christmas card, as an upgrade or an option to your clients, a lot of photographers will either spend time creating their own designs for those, or they will have to purchase those in order to create custom designs for their clients. But we again offer hundreds of those at absolutely no charge, free of charge, for you to use however you'd like across our entire greeting card line. So we don't only do flat cards, which are some of the most popular ones. We do folded cards, multi-folded cards, scalloped greeting cards, which are the ones that are actually have more creative shapes. And our entire line of designs are across all of those. So I hope you take advantage of that, because we do put in a lot of work throughout the year. That's something that is a marathon for us, and we want you to take advantage of it. So we, aren't wasting our time over here trying to give you something that we know you can absolutely put to good use, and we want you to use that.
Nice. Yeah, that's fantastic. Greeting cards. Maybe more important now than ever to do that.
I think so. I do. Last year we didn't really get to see everybody in person, so
Yeah,
snail mail was one of those things that
that's
it
right.
gave you something to hold on to when you couldn't hold on to your family, unfortunately. But
Have you ever filled up your refrigerator? I'm looking over at the refrigerator door. Have you ever filled up your refrigerator door with cards and pictures from friends and relatives during that Christmas time?
yeah, we do that on the refrigerator. We also have like a mantle area where you put all
Yeah.
of the greeting cards. Last year, I actually created a black and white Christmas tree with all photographs of my
Ah.
family and
Oh, I love
friends
it.
and people that are in
That's
my life.
cool.
So that was kind of fun. And I started adding the greeting cards that we were getting, or the pictures that we would get in the mail. So yeah, greeting cards are a very important part of last year, as they always have been, but especially last year. So I actually think that this year's greeting cards, we're going to see an uptick in. And I have heard from other photographers that we're working with already that they're really going to start to push for those, because the value that people had in the printed photo beforehand was strong, but not as strong as it now is becoming in lieu of everything that's happened. So, we want to keep that in mind and encourage our clients to invest in the things that we know matter for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, other than telling you what's coming up next week, do we have anything else we need to share?
I think that does it.
So on November 1st, that's 1 week from today. Again, can you believe we're already coming into November? Because I can't. Overcoming limiting beliefs. And we creatives, we've got a little too much abundance of this. We usually cause, now I'm not saying there aren't things in our environment that cause some problems. There are. But a lot of the problems we experience are internal. It's the perception of something that is a negative that's causing our problems. And so we have to find ways to overcome these limiting beliefs. And we're going to be talking about some of those. And on the week after that, it's the second week in November. This is the one where we do it in the evening, 6:30 in the evening. So only one we do in the evening, so the second Monday of every month, 6:30 in the evening. We're going to be having a panel of 3 different photographers talk about how they deal with this. So we'll have a general discussion of it, a lesson on it this coming Monday, and then a panel talking about how they deal with self-doubt. So the problems that they've come across, how to what extent they've solved it. I don't know that anyone solves the problem. We just make it so that we can continue and do the things we want to do. But that's what we'll be talking about over the next 2 weeks, is overcoming our limiting beliefs so that we can be the version of ourselves that we are, that we actually are, just not yet. So put that on your calendar. I hope to see you guys in 1 week. That's Monday, November 1st at noon, overcoming limiting beliefs. Put it on your Google Calendar, your iCalendar, your whatever it is you use, but do it now so you don't forget. All right. Thank you, Amanda, for all that you are doing. Thanks again for the, let's see. That's funny, Rick. I'm going to put back up your promo code just in case anybody wasn't paying enough attention to it. Take advantage of this promo code from Digital Pro Lab. Metal does rock, so it's a totally appropriate promo code. I like that promo code. I like all your promo codes. They make sense. So use that promo code and take advantage of that. There's more comments that I need to. Oh, we thank you for saying thank you. Thanks, Steve. All right. Well, let's bring this to a close. Thanks again, Amanda, for being here. I'm going to do the outro. And it is a marathon, but it's fun. As long as we make it fun, as long as we have a good, solid plan ahead of us. And we can be very good at planning if we aren't already. We can become master planners, really good at this stuff, and love it. And I'm happy to help you if you need any help, because that's what I'm here for. Enjoy the planning. Enjoy the doing. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profits Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, action steps, and more that help you with the struggles that you deal with now, so that you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Bye-bye for now.